Hello, my name is Anand. In this video, I will demonstrate about this code commit first, and later I'll be also be showing you about how to deploy this code deploy using this code pipeline service. See, what is this code commit? In this code commit, we will establish a kind of Git repository from local, and we will also learn about how to push these files to the Git repository. And then later on, with this Git repository as a source, we will also try to learn how to deploy in the real-time environment. And we will also see using this code pipeline, if we make any changes in the Git repository, how it gets deployed. The changes can be even seen across the deployment. So remember, we will be using this code commit for JIT for code commit, and what we use is that for code deploying, we will also use an EC2 instance. Okay, so that the instance we will also install the relevant packages, and then using this pipeline service is a kind of automation where the code can be accessed from the commit, from the code commit, and then this can be deployed by the source and destination. So this can also be seen across the real time. Believe me, we are skipping some of the steps like code build, which is mainly meant for website building, etc. In this use case, and this is meant for only for educational purpose of how this code commit and code pipeline and how this code deployment is being used. This is not meant for production environment because we are missing out a lot of steps in between. Okay, so now just let me give a short overview of code commit. Code commit is a version control service hosted by AWS Amazon services that you can use to privately store and manage assets such as documents, source code, and binary files in the cloud. For information about, okay, so this is a tutorial in docsamazon.com. You can even go through this working with repository, how to create a repository here in this. So here we will start working, but I made a short notes for you to understand how you can. So in this part one of this video series, yes, I'm given a short steps. Like in the first step, what we need to do is, yes, we can download the JIT for your Linux or Windows desktop. Here I'm using Windows 10. I'll be downloading this and installing on my Windows desktop. So soon after that, preliminarily, we can configure our username and of course your name preliminarily, and then we will go ahead with creating an IAM user and attaching the policies. Okay, once we attach the policies, yes, so also we need to okay, create some additional policies for code deployment, which will be explained at a later stage. And then we will move ahead with creating a code commit repository. Okay, so I'll just briefly explain about this code commit. So code commit is AWS service which is securely highly scalable private JIT repositories. Uh, yeah, it is a highly scalable managed source control service and that hosts. See, in this it to work similar to your JIT repository. It makes easy for teams to securely collaborate on code with contributions encrypted in transit and at rest. So this also eliminates you to manage your own source control system or worry about the scaling in its infrastructure. So you can use code commit to store anything from code to binaries. So in free tier service, yes, we get 5 active use services free for every month. Okay, so the major benefits which are across this code commit is it is fully managed, secure, and high availability. Collaborate on code, fast deployment lifecycle, and you can use your own existing tools which are being used. Right, so quickly let me move ahead with downloading the JIT. So here this is the official website where you can download for Windows. So I have already downloaded this JIT. I'll just show you how to install this. Just double click this and use all the defaults. It should also install all the relevant plugins. Yes, and say next, and say just say next, next, next. Give all defaults, install. It should take a minute's time to complete your installation. Okay, the installation is done. I'm just skipping this one. Okay, just say finish. Right. Okay. So I opened my command prompt. So once after the installation is done, you can config git config --- global user.email. Okay, it's done. And config - global user.name. I can give my name. Right. So my next is that I'll create a user, IAM user, okay, and then I will attach administrative privilege, or you can attach any one of the policy which is supplemented here, and also I will attach the security credentials. So here I will go to AWS console. Okay, this is my AWS management console. I go to my IAM. I'll create a user first, because these credentials needs to be, okay, create a user, add user. I'll give my name, give star, give programmatic as well as AWS access, custom password. Okay, not required. And just say permissions, attach policies directly. I can say administrative full access, maybe billing also. You can attach code commit full access and the code pipeline full access. Just the next tags, review. So create a user. Okay, you can download the right. So the user star is now created. Select the user star now and get your Git credentials, security credentials. Under that, scroll down. You can generate your credentials. Download the credentials. That will help once we clone the Git. Okay, it's almost done. Now I go to what we call as code commit for this user. I will just clone, or I can say code commit. Code of code commit. Create a repository. Okay, let's say great. Okay, so clone this URL for HTTPS. Say copy, which is here. It will prompt for your username and password. Yep. So here, code commit credentials. I just open this, and here and say okay. So it notes down all the credentials. Okay. So now if you say dir, your repository is now cloned. So this is the first step. Once this is done, it's an empty repository. It's an empty repository. So I will take a sample code and then we'll try to push it. So when I go to my documentation, provide username, this is done. And now here this is a sample application where I'm going to download this sample script from Amazon website. So here this is the sample script, and here this is some. Okay, I'm just opening. I'll open all the files in my demo. So here on my desktop, I have a directory called as demo into my empty directory. Okay, so this step is done now. So here, once you go into your, you can see there are some files in your Anand repository, which I have copied. Right. So let me say, ask me the status of Git. So all of them are red. So these are local files. Then next is that Git, I can say add -a all files. Yes, okay, this is a working directory. And next is Git commit. I can say -m message something. Application files. Okay. So this all files has been added into in committed mode. I can say the final step, push. So it's pushing all the files. Yes. And then go to your repository and just see whether your files are committed or not. Yeah. So this Git is successfully now committed, right? And next step, we will go to the next step. In this way, this Git repository can be utilized. So in my next video, I'll be demonstrating about how you can use this repository and you can deploy into the real-time environment. So later also we will be creating a pipeline service where you can make use of this Git repository and see that using this pipeline, the changes whatever we do in the Git repository can be directly interacted with the deployment. Okay. So okay, thank you and bye.